Hi everybody. You may have seen the video I did last week using the Panasonic Lumix G9 and the updated firmware version 2.4 and it's showing its effect on continuous autofocus, which is greatly improved. And I think people who saw that video would agree that, and from the comments, that it's gotten really good. I decided to do some more work just to see. I didn't shoot stills with continuous autofocus, so I've done that. Over the weekend I went back over to Thatcher Woods and shot video of animals and one mountain biker. And then yesterday it was fairly breezy, so I went to Montrose Beach on the north side of Chicago on the Lake Michigan shore. There are gulls and Caspian terns and of course people. I was hoping for kite surfers, but unfortunately there was only a yellow flag up for wave conditions, which allow swimming, and they don't allow kite surfing if there are swimmers in the water. You have to have a red flag, which means no swimming, because the conditions are rough, but the kite surfers like that. So I have more clips, and I also have stills of gulls and terns in flight, and with description of what's going on. This was all shot, as was the previous video, in full HD 1080p 30 frames per second. My understanding is we shoot 60 frames per second, it helps the autofocus, but from the results that I see, I'm not sure that that's necessary, because in a nutshell, not to give everything away, it's really good. I think it's good enough now to where it shouldn't be a deterrent to getting the camera. I also think that maybe the G9 is better than the Panasonic full frames, because my guess is that the sensor readout on the smaller sensor is faster than on the full frame sensors. So that might be another factor in why this is so good. Well, without me rambling on anymore, have a look at these stills and clips, and then I will discuss the results at the end of the video. There's Canada Goose with goslings on the Des Plaines River. Lumix G9 100 to 300 lens, continuous autofocus. This is a female brown-headed cowbird foraging rather erratically. These are brood parasites and have increased in population, so this is a problem because they parasitize other birds' nests. Some males fly into the picture. There's why they're the brown-headed cowbird. The next clip is of a Baltimore Oriole, and this is a really quick clip because I raised the camera, I saw it, the focus immediately locked, and then the bird flew away into the underbrush. An eastern chipmunk, and he's probably thinking that he should stay still because I see him. We have now a mountain biker who stopped, and I talked to him, and he agreed that using this would be okay. But it locked onto him pretty quickly. The animal does detect insects because it boxed right around this thing. Here's a white-tailed deer doe, and here is Junior. Here she is again with Junior, and now we're going to move to Montrose Beach on the Chicago lakefront. The first is a 3-shot series of a Caspian tern with its distracting elements, but nailed it. This is a, I believe, ring-billed gull flying sort of obliquely towards me. This is a 16-shot series. The autofocus didn't fail here. Every one of these is in focus. It tracked the bird better than I did, and kept focus even when there was just a wingtip left in the frame. I think this might have been on autofocus setting 1. I changed it to setting 3 shortly after this. Next shot is Caspian tern again, distracting elements in the background, and no problem except for the last frame. It does lose focus. Here's a Caspian tern against trees. It lost, it shifted to the background here. This is the one time I had an issue. But here's a gull, and it locked focus on the gull. Here is another series of a gull coming towards the camera, and again, just spot on. Now we're going to move to video. Here is an immature gull flying in to join his buddies on the beach. Here is a Caspian tern. I think it does briefly lose focus a couple times here, but it still does a pretty good job locking onto this thing. There's a Caspian terns hanging out on the beach. Some folks heading out into 60° Fahrenheit water. More folks further out, and actually these people went too far out, and the lifeguard started yelling at them, which you will see in a bit. One thing I discovered, I was hoping there would be some windsurfers, or actually kite surfers, which is popular here, but it turns out that if the conditions allow swimming, so a green or a yellow flag, kite surfing is not allowed. Red flag meaning it's too rough for swimming, then kite surfers are allowed. So maybe next time. Here's a gull, ring-billed gull, grabbing something. I'm not sure what it catches here. It's not a fish. It doesn't look like a crayfish, but it does bring it up to shore. As you can see, focus tracking, darn near perfect. Here is a gull flying towards the camera. It lost focus for a little bit there, but grabbed right back on. Another gull out in the water hunting. And grabs, same sort of thing. So I'm not exactly sure if that's just a piece of garbage it's going to eat, or something alive. But you can see the autofocus tracks erratically moving subjects pretty well. Here it's going to lock onto this gull on the right here, who's going to scratch his face while flying, and then grab something. And finally we're going to end up with a male red-winged blackbird at the Montrose Point nature area. Again, soft background, focused pretty well. All in all, really great performance. So, what do you think? Looks pretty good, huh? I'll tell you that when I shot the series of the ring-billed gull, which appeared right after the initial stills of the Caspian tern, and then loaded them onto the computer and saw that all 16 frames, all 16 shots of the series, the gull was in focus, even when most of the gull wasn't even in the frame, just the left wingtip. I've been using autofocus cameras since the film EOS bodies. Usually any autofocus system is going to have a miss. I mean, I've used the first three 5Ds. I had a 70D and an 80D, and shot some family sports with them. And tracking autofocus is hit and miss sometimes. To get 100% like that, it's, I think, pretty astounding, given that this is not a phase detect autofocus system. For video, seems to be no problems. You've got gulls zigging and zagging, and it's locked right on. And in the previous firmware version, you tended to see that wobble in the background, and it would tend to lose focus on distracting elements. That's not an issue anymore. So I'm thrilled. I mean, I think that this is just great that a company would update a camera this significantly. This is a used G9 that I'm using. I mean, I bought this from Central Camera 2 years ago, and it's been a good camera. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy using it. Ergonomically, it's a fantastic camera. Image quality, it's fine. I've never had anybody complain about the image quality out of this, and I've done commercial work with it. So continuous tracking autofocus is not a reason to skip over this camera anymore. It's fine. Is it as good as the alternatives from Canon, Sony, and so on? I don't know, somebody needs to do a head-to-head, but I don't have the resources to do that. But if somebody's done that, share the link. Let me know. And let me know your thoughts, questions, anything that I might have missed. Just let me know. If you found this to be valuable, please like it and subscribe. I'm going to try and get content up every week. If there's questions that you have or things that you haven't seen covered elsewhere, let me know. Tomorrow, I am planning a trip to a few hours west of Chicago to a place called Nachusa Grassland, which is a nature conservancy preserve. And it essentially, other than a high tension line that goes right through it, looks the way Illinois did several hundred years ago. So hopefully it'll be a decent day for photography, and I will put the results up as soon as possible. But again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.